Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yeah, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Aaron Williams.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We are radio for the local craft beer movement, broadcasting from the AM 920 The Answer Studios in Atlanta. And I'm Aaron Williams.
And I'm Tim Dennis. We got Brian Hewitt in the studio with us as well. Brian, how you doing?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm great, man. We have awesome show. It's been a crazy day already, Aaron.
No kidding.
We're here. We got beer, all as well. But we're going to be talking winter beers this week. We're going to be talking about those ones that warm you up, fill you up, feel good. We have some very awesome guests in the studio with us this week.
We do.
We have Chef Lara Holland and our friend FishScales from Nappy Roots. They are business partners in Healthy Bark, and they're going to talk and drink beer with us and tell us about their company. So thanks for joining us, y'all. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all for having us, man.
Absolutely.
I'm a fan of the show. If Tim hadn't told you, I listen very closely, man. Y'all like my senseis in the whole beer industry.
I feel you. That's good. I like that. I like to be a sensei of somebody.
Sensei.
That's always key. Also, too, we've got news. I want to, before we bring Brian in for the news, too, we also want to welcome brand new affiliates.
Absolutely.
KLAY 1180 or KLAY 1180 in Tacoma, Lakewood, Washington.
Washington State.
I am so excited about this. So welcome
Appreciate it.
to the Beer Guys family. And again, I grew up on Whidbey Island, which is about an hour outside of Tacoma, and so this is like a homecoming for me, and I'm really, really excited for it. So
congratulations on your
West Coast in the
success.
house.
West Coast, baby. That's right. That's right. And go Seahawks. Anyway, all right. I know. So let's transition out of here too. So Tim, we want to get through quickly. A lot of news to cover. But what did you do this week?
I had a pretty easygoing week, except I went to Strong Beer Fest.
Pretty easygoing, except for the Strong Beer Fest.
Except for Strong Beer Fest. So nothing outside of that, but had some really good beers there. One of my favorites was Creature Comfort's Curious 11, which was a spice stout that they did that was really good. Also, Torch Top did a beer called Responsibly Haze, which was a fantastic IPA. There was a lot of great beers there and a great people, just a really good event all around.
Nice. Very good. So, yeah, I was able to take it pretty easy as well. Just kind of hanging out with the family. I've been kind of off all week long, so just chilling out, doing a lot of work. But I did get a chance to get some Prairie Bomb in. Austin Street from Maine, they have a Florence IPA, which I really enjoyed. And then Arches. Met the assistant taproom manager there at Arches, and he was able to hook me up with the Four Fiddlers, which is their bourbon barrel-aged quad. It is deceptively drinkable. I think it was 13.5%, and I could have drank a couple of pints of that
I actually missed that one at Strong Beer Fest, and that was one I definitely wanted to try. But I have to get down to Arches. So.
Yeah, definitely should check that out. It's really, really nice. So, good stuff. Let's go ahead and check out this week's Truck and Taps Beers of the Week.
Crack open a cold one. It's the Truck and Tap Beer of the Week. Woo-hoo! Craft beer and food trucks in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com.
Lots of stuff on the list today, Tim. What do we got?
Lots of them. So there's no way we can get through all of these and stay upright. But we have, right now, we're drinking one that is releasing on the 17th from Three Taverns Craft Brewery in Decatur, Georgia. One we loved, very popular last release, Helm's Deep. Mm-hmm. So they were nice enough to give us a shout and let us get a preview of the bottle they're releasing this year. I'm getting warm already. Oh, it warms you, rich, boozy. Just a really delicious beer.
That reminds me of Christmas. It really does. It's a great Christmas beer, yeah.
But on top of that, we have some Red Brick Hypewell. We have Absinthium from Scofflaw. I've got some vintage Terrapin Reserve beers, which I think I've got a 2014 Muhu Chiato here. We have also, what do we get? We got Garage Club number 6. We got a barrel-aged Leica from Straight to
I think
Ale.
I got two. One that's a barrel-aged and one that's just a regular.
But we've got a ton of really nice, warming Georgia and Alabama beers.
Just light, sessionable beers.
Just
super easy drinking. So we're going to have to, I guess, call our own Uber/Lyft before we have to get through things. So anyway, like I said, big week in beer. Let's go ahead and check out this week's headlines.
What's in the news? The Beer Guys have the scoop.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Time for headlines.
And, of course, Brian Hewitt, our field operative, has the headlines. What's going on?
All right, so some news from one of our sponsors, Ironmonger Brewing, has announced the official grand opening of their barrel room, and that will be on January 4th of 2018, of course. The Barrel Room is an expansion of their Marietta tap room, and in addition to providing more space for barrel-aging beers, it's also an entertainment venue. The acts will include local musicians, stand-up comedy, as well as other entertainment. Follow Ironmonger on social media for more info on the grand opening and other Barrel Room events.
Very cool.
So this week, Scofflaw announced a partnership with Brewdog USA. It'll have the two breweries collaborating on canning and other projects. So Scofflaw will get access to Brewdog's state-of-the-art brewing equipment and canning equipment in Columbus, Ohio, and use this to increase the production of their canned beer that is distributed in Georgia. So this will help them out while they are working on their third expansion. So that'll take some pressure off of them for that.
Is it planned as a temporary partnership?
It's a 1 year partnership agreement, is my understanding. I think it's going to give them both. So Brewdog has time on their equipment they're not using, and Scofflaw needs more brewing equipment for the year until the expansion's done. So,
cool.
So yeah, basically the lineup of beers that they will be brewing up there will be Basement IPA, Double Jeopardy, Hooligan, and maybe some other stuff once some test brewing has been completed.
And also, I believe they're going to have some collaborations up there as well. So if you're heading up to Ohio, they'll have a Scofflaw Brewdog collab on tap, I believe, too.
Yes, that is planned. That is planned. It'll be pouring up there only as far as I can tell. Some interesting news from the group behind Atlanta's New Realm Brewing. ABW Charlotte LLC, a company that is linked to New Realm CEOs Terry Falcone, purchased a 19,000-square-foot building in the high-end area of Charlotte, North Carolina, and has filed for rezoning to use the space as an entertainment establishment, according to the Charlotte Observer. We reached out to New Realm COO and brewmaster Mitch Steele for comment. He tells us that for the time being, this is a buy-and-hold property. The group looked at the building 2 years ago when they were scouting locations for their East Coast brewery. And earlier this year, it dropped into their lap at a price that was too good to pass up. So, of course, they filed for the rezoning to get it ready for future development.
That's pretty interesting. So it definitely shows that they're planning on more after Atlanta. You know?
Yes.
And their Atlanta brewery is very close to opening. I figure we're going to tape this show and they're going to announce it in between taping and broadcast.
Yeah, but we saw on social media, on Facebook, they were taking pictures of them canning. So they're pretty much ready to go.
It'll be open at any moment. It might be open right now.
Oh, my goodness.
Now.
Stay tuned for more.
That's right.
So Dry County is adding distilled spirits to their portfolio. You might have heard about this on the Beer Guys Radio website. So they plan to start doing this in early 2018. They've already got approval from the Kennesaw City Council. State approval by the end of the year, they're hoping, and the spirits will be available exclusively in the tasting room. So,
yeah, we're starting to see more people doing the whole brewing tasting thing. Of course, Avondale did it. We talked to Unknown for Drink This Beer. They're starting to do it as well.
Brewing and distilling.
Exactly. So yeah, we've seen some partnerships as well with some local distillers here and breweries. So it's a natural combination. I guess it's time well spent to do that, I guess.
It's good. Yeah, and so the results of some of those have been fantastic. Yeah, seriously.
Definitely.
Second Self plans a 2018 expansion to their facilities, their barrel aging program, and starting up a sour beer program. So due to demand, they're adding more tanks, which will increase their production by 20%. And they're going to start their first in a series of sour beers sometime in 2018.
Cool.
There will also be some updates to the tap room. They're gonna start offering draft beer pitchers, which I don't think I've seen draft beer pitchers anywhere.
I don't think I have either.
I've never seen that before. No.
And then Fire Pit Fridays and some other, they got a taco stand that'll be there every Saturday at lunch. So they're going to add some additional incentives.
Didn't they recently? I think it may be Sundays only, but I think they added doing beer cocktails.
Yes.
Yes, they did.
On Sundays. I think, Jason, after doing the show here with you guys.
I was going to say,
right.
We inspired him to do beer cocktails, and we'll totally take the credit for it.
I so need to get down there for that.
I know, me too.
Blue Water Brewing Company is moving from Florence to Huntsville, Alabama. They announced this on their Facebook, and it's happening on December 15th. There weren't many details that I could find about it, but they expressed their regret at the move and wanted to thank everybody who's given them support for the past 2 years and encourage them to come out and have the $2 drafts while they're still in town.
Interesting.
There we go. Very cool. All right. Well, it's time to take a quick break right now. Coming back, we'll crack open a few beers with Chef Lara and FishScales talking winter beers and sustainability. BeerGuysRadio.com. We'll be back right after this.
Have you ever thought about owning your own brewery, but don't know what it takes to get one built? We're CRL Contracting, and we build breweries. We are the most experienced contractors in the state of Georgia when it comes to building new breweries and tap rooms, or expanding current breweries. If you've been to Orpheus, Second Self, or Scofflaw, then you know what kind of work we can do. Just give us a call at 678-546-3382 or visit crlcontracting.com for more information. CRL Contracting. We build breweries. crlcontracting.com.
It's Aaron and Tim, the beer guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock and Alpharetta are always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy, Aaron. See, they've got 18 of them.
As for the truck part, well, that's when it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks daily, so that way you're getting a different menu every day.
Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock, Alpharetta, and coming soon to Duluth in 2018. Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the beer guys sent you.
Craft beer forged with a reverence for tradition and new styles that start a revolution. Ironmonger Brewing. The brewers at Ironmonger pride themselves in being masters of barrel-aged, hoppy, and sour beers. They invite you to their tap room to taste and see. And coming soon, Ironmonger's Barrel Room, featuring live entertainment. Keep up to date on all things Ironmonger by liking them on Facebook. Ironmonger Brewing, establishing a new standard in craft beer.
We are Reformation Brewery, celebrating the reformer in you. Locally crafted within the renowned Etowah watershed of Woodstock, Georgia, Reformation creates yeast-forward brews full of aroma and flavor crafted to last. Come see us in beautiful Woodstock, Georgia, for a tour and tasting of unique brews that you can't find anywhere else. Reformation Brewery, set beer free. ReformationBrewery.com.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
And welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Come visit us at beerguysradio.com. We are live from our studios at AM 920 The Answer in Atlanta, and we're talking with Chef Lara and FishScales, and we're drinking wintry beers. We just opened up a 2015 Sweetwater Happy Ending
From Tim's cellar.
And from the cellar,
yes.
And we're going to get into that. So
very cool.
Scales,
Excellent.
what do you think of that? Are you still working on Helms Deep, or are you on to the Happy Ending?
No, I'm past the Helms Deep. I'm a fan of Sweetwater, and this lives up to the standard. I like
That's
this
good.
a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot lighter than the Helms Deep.
it is.
And it's cooler. Like, is that a better temperature? Maybe that has something
Like
to
a
do
little
with it.
cooler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But
Yes,
I'm
well,
a winter beer fan for the record. I
Okay.
told you that
Yeah,
when we
stout
first
guy,
met.
sure enough.
well, that's
Yeah.
why we brought you
Stouts.
on the show, because we're about to have maybe an inch of snow in Atlanta, and everyone is panicking. So, we have to talk about some winter beers and
Yes.
those types of things. So Tim, what necessarily makes a winter beer?
So I think generally when you look at a winter beer, and there are some exceptions to this, but this is blanket generalizations here. You're going to see probably a fuller body. It's going to have a little legs to it, something that kind of coats the palate a little bit. Usually going to be a little higher ABV. So that's you can get anything from. You're not going to find a session winter beer. No 3%ers or anything. Typically, it's going to be more malt forward. They do make some pale ales, Christmas ales, things with spruce tips or very piney hops, but typically a maltier beer that you're going to see. And they're going to have a warming quality. And that's one of the things I said with the Helms Deep, when we first got into that, is that it was very warming from that first. That's just one, it's cold, you want to wrap up, you want to get a fire going, get you a snifter of that. And
Definitely.
kick back. So what's been your favorite so far, Lara?
I'm into that. Was it the Helms?
The Helms Deep?
Yeah. I just, it felt like I could just curl up, like it was a blanket. I just drinking that one sip, just warmly coated the insides. So thus far, yeah. I like this 420. It's nice, but it's like that. It's an afternoon winter.
There you go.
That's
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an evening winter, right? Like you want to curl up, like and get in bed. That's a blanket. This is the afternoon winter. Yeah.
So when the weather's bad, afternoon you're going to start off with that.
That's right.
That happy
water.
ending.
Yeah, the happy ending.
On to the Helm's Deep, huh?
That's a good happy ending. You
Right.
know? It's
Yes.
not quite, and then you get into bed with Helm's Deep.
There you go.
So many double entendres here. I'm pressing the dump button as we speak. We're all set. No.
Quick question: Is there a difference? Is there a basic difference between dessert beer and winter beer? Or is there even a thing of dessert beer?
Dessert beers, usually when you hear those, it's going to be on the higher end as far as the body goes. They may even go as far as having desserty flavors to them. Like with Helm's Deep, they
like
make a
that's
German chocolate. They make a German chocolate version of that.
But I feel like that's more on Scales' note. I definitely feel like that's that more dessert kind of, like that's that end of the night cat.
Right.
It's one of those beers that you kind of when you finish alone with nothing else. It's just you don't pair that with anything else.
Yeah, with that one last girl. Yeah.
The one last one.
Sorry.
And I really like this happy ending. Can't even lie. It's a really light, drinkable stout.
So I think all dessert beers would probably fall into a winter beer category.
Don't they tend to be sweeter?
I don't think all winter beers would be dessert beers.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like that.
Not all winter beers would be dessert beers.
Yes.
Right.
But winter beers, if you're going to have it, winter beers would fall into dessert category.
So one example I would say would be a Scotch Ale. So I mean, you kind of get that roasty, kind of malty, smoky thing. I wouldn't necessarily have that as a dessert beer, but it's a kind of got a heavier malt to it, a little bit more of that warming feel to it. It's a good winter beer, but it's not something you'd want to fish.
Probably too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Fall in those categories.
This
So they could be
served all year. That Helm's Deep could be served all year long as a dessert beer.
Yeah.
Because that's that great end of the night.
right. You know, I've always said when people say winter beers, I'm like, there's no such thing as stout season. Drink those all year. But I got to admit, maybe it's getting up in my years. Those big, heavy, boozy ones, they do feel a little heavier in the warmer months.
Well, you feel it in your whole body.
Right.
Well, that's when you do the black and tan, though. You got to do the black and tan. You
mix it up,
Get a little bass in there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, of course, Brian and I are the big hopheads on the show. We love our IPAs and stuff.
Yeah.
For me, though, I kind of back off on the IPAs when the temperature starts changing because, I mean, I love them. I mean, they're great, but I start gravitating towards the Scotch Ales, the porters, the stouts, because, I want that warmer feeling to them. For some reason, my palate just says, no, I'm good. Yeah.
I just turn up the heat and drink more IPA.
There you go. Good for you.
You got it covered, right? Yeah.
That'll work.
I am not an IPA fan, so I'm just gonna say it. Like I'm the minority in the group right now. Yeah.
I'm 50-50. There's some I like, but
you're getting better, Tim. So
I am
it's
getting
good.
better.
Yeah.
I find it. You know, when I check in on Untapped, Darren, and it's the badge I have the highest level on is like the I Believe in IPA badge. So I'm like, maybe it's on that quest to find them there. So
I think I've been coming from the West Coast. You may relate to this. Again, coming from the West Coast, IPAs. So in my opinion, we're 10, 20 years on IPAs. I'm over it.
Well, we started, of course, on the West Coast, with Sierra Nevada Pale Ale and those types of things. There's the piney, and you're from Portland, so you're the same way. It's that piney, dank, just in your face spruce beer.
Yeah.
It's kind of evolved to more of the Northeastern style IPA where it's more fruit forward and those types of things. But you're right. I mean, everyone has about 8 million IPAs on tap. So to find a porter or a stout sometimes is kind of a nice little zag when everyone else is zigging. So
I feel that. I feel like variety is the spice of life, and I like it when a lot of we're bringing in different things. When the menu isn't completely loaded with IPAs when we're at these breweries and we have some different things, that's important. It's important to present different things.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Now some winter beer styles that are popular.
Some of the styles, like we've talked about several of them here. You're going to see a lot of porters and stouts. I think, when winter comes up, porter stouts, we've got several releases coming up, throughout Georgia, Alabama, and across the country at this time of year. You also see ones like Belgian quads that you'll see. There are Belgian styles. A lot of the Belgian brewers actually produce Christmas ales or holiday ales that you can look out for, that you'll see. So
really? What are some
I
good
am
Belgians?
fond.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I want to interject right there while we're talking about styles. I am fond of Doppelbocks around this time, and I think Samet Claus is a Doppelbock. It's delightful, like 14% or something like that.
Yeah,
It's at
right
the
up
top
there.
end. It used to be the big beer that we could get locally. And
Now that you mention that, I haven't had one of those in a while.
No,
but
it's funny.
That's a great beer.
I have some.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then you'll see ones like you mentioned, Aaron, Scotch Ales, strong ales, barley wines, come out. So, and barley wines, English barley wines are the only acceptable barley wines, and American barley wines should be just not allowed at all. So hops don't belong in stouts or barley wines. And that's
I'm going to agree with you on that one. Even though I'm a hophead, I will agree with you on that one because
Russian Imperial Stouts. That's kind of their whole game, and I think that's what Happy Ending originally was.
No, well, see, and Happy Ending, to be honest, I like it cellared a little bit because it's the Happy Ending and the festive and that. So, what do you think, Scales? Do you like beers like stouts that have a lot of hop character to them?
I don't. I like my stouts more creamy, full of body. I started with Guinness, that's probably my first experience. So I always like that creamy feel to it. And it's almost like none of the characteristics of beer that I grew up on.
Yeah.
And it took me a while, but once I found that flavor, I was in love with it.
Once you kind of break the seal of Guinness and you're like, oh, this isn't Bud Light. This is completely different from what you're looking for.
You got to learn that. And I can remember waking up one day just like, damn, I want that. I want a Guinness. Just out of the blue, I really...
So Guinness was your craft beer introduction, the one that brought you into the craft world?
Stouts.
To stouts,
because you got to think, craft beer is one thing for me to get into, and then to get into stouts is like a whole different experience.
World? All right, man.
That was harder, basically.
His gateway beer.
The gateway beer.
That's right. That's right.
Corona was my gateway.
Oh,
Blue Moon, Coronas. Yeah.
There you go. Everyone has to start off somewhere, and then you've kind of moved into it, and you're brewing your own beer, and you guys are starting to get into business with the Healthy Bark, and we're going to talk about that in the next segment coming right up. But first, we'll take a quick break. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. BeerGuysRadio.com is our website. And you can follow us on the socials as well, Beer Guys Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and the Instagrams. Coming up next, we'll talk more with Chef Lara and FishScales from Nappy Roots. We'll be back right after this.
Time for the Hot List. The Beer Guys have the scoop on what's going on next week. Brought to you by CRL Contracting. We build breweries. CRLcontracting.com.
That's hot.
Lots of great stuff coming up in Georgia this week. Busy time of year. The holidays now, but there's plenty of beer events coming up. On Sunday, tomorrow, Pretoria Fields Collective grand opening. It continues. They've been going through the weekend. Brand new brewery down in South Georgia, so they seem very dedicated and serious about what they're doing, so go check them out. We also have the Rick Mobile at Sweetwater Brewing Company here in Atlanta for the Rick and Morty fans. And we've got Santa Claus at Scofflaw Brewing, so go see if you're on the naughty or the nice list there. So on Monday, we have Hop City KSM's 3rd anniversary party. We have Dry County beginning their 12 events of Christmas. And we've got some Shakespeare on draft at Orpheus Brewing. On Tuesday, Cherry Street celebrates their 5th anniversary. Rocking events through the week there. They kick it off there on Tuesday. 5 years up there in Cumming, Georgia. We also have a comedy date night at Argosy. So then on Wednesday as always is trivia night. We've got tacos and trivia at Reformation Brewery. We have team trivia at Your Pie Perimeter. Next Thursday, Pie Bar and beer pairing at Reformation Brewing. And Aaron, I've heard the Pie Bar pies are really good.
Yeah.
They're pretty elite pies.
Fancy
so
pizza.
So maybe this is a good way for me to check it out, is to go up there and get some pies and beer. So we also have the Secret Apollo launch at Jekyll Brewing and an ugly sweater run at Gate City. And they said, or you can just come run around and drink beer. You don't have to have
and just be ugly
sweater. Yeah. Yes. On Friday, Pontoon Brewing does their relaxed opening. They're going to have an official grand opening going into the first of the year, but they're going to do kind of a soft opening, a relaxed opening there. They had a little delay due to some drama with the DOR, but they're going to get it kicked off there in Sandy Springs. We have a Silent Night winter party and silent disco at Creature Comforts and Santa's Schnockered Sleigh Ride at Torch Top. Next Saturday, Pours for Pets at Second Self and beer and chocolate pairing at Oconee Brewing. So for the full list of Georgia beer events, check out our website, beerguysradio.com, and our calendar of events.
All Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Shake it back!
And welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Follow us on social media. Beer Guys Radio on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We're talking winter beers this week. We have FishScales with us.
Oh, yeah.
Scales, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, bro.
And we have Chef Lara. Thanks for coming, man. We enjoy it. Brought us some good beers. We're just having a good time here.
Yeah.
And Chef Lara Chef Lara and Scales are partners in Healthy Bark, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, making sustainable dog biscuits.
Yeah.
So, cool stuff. But we've been talking winter beers. We've been having a good time drinking some winter beers. And right now we're waiting on Brian for our next beer.
Whatever,
Phil
Brian.
Operative Brian is multitasking. But,
exactly. He's tweeting, his Facebook in, he's pulling beers out of his cooler.
Yes.
I tell you what.
One job, Brian.
Right.
That's right. One job.
Barrel or no?
What are we getting in?
Oh, barrel.
We need barrel, I think.
Okay,
So.
a Cabernet barrel-aged Lyca
Okay.
from straight to ale.
Very cool.
And straight to ale, of
That's a
course,
good
out of
one.
Huntsville. It's good stuff.
Yes.
So very cool.
Now, Scales, I think you mentioned you don't care for wine barrel age, though, right?
No, I don't, man.
All right, flip it up, Brian.
Never
Let's
been
go
a
with the
big
regular. So
wine drinker, but
No,
okay.
All right, we'll figure it out.
I'll dive
It's
in.
too late now.
You'll dive in.
Okay.
So
That's so funny to me, though, because you have such, like, the sophisticated palate.
I
I would
know.
expect you to be way more on this wine beat.
I find myself to be sophisticated, but I prefer the sophistication of a fine beer. Right, Scales?
yeah, I feel it lacks the carbonation. It lacks the bite.
Okay.
I like the
I get
bite.
that.
That's
A
why
little
you like those
crispiness.
IPAs. I think that's why you like those IPAs.
Like
Yeah.
a balance.
I'm a big wine. I come from the wine country, so
Uh-huh.
I feel like that's like a bigger thing. That's why I think I like those the wine.
Yeah.
Wine barrel stuff
wine
and
barrel
that?
stuff.
And I
Yeah.
will say, as Nappy Roots, man, we've gotten a lot of love from Alabama, from the whole southeast of the country. So any beer coming out of Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, I'm willing to support.
Nice.
Or at
South
least
is
try it
doing
out.
He's
some
a
really
Southern
good
boy.
stuff.
That's right.
He's a
That's
Southern
right.
boy.
Well, you know, one of my favorite breweries out of
He's not just a
Hattiesburg.
Southern boy.
out
He's
of-
a country boy.
One of my favorite breweries is out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Southern Prohibition.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just doing some phenomenal beers, everything they've
wow.
done. So we really enjoy those.
We got to
But-
represent in this beer.
That's
in
right.
this whole
Yes.
beer race, man.
Well, in the Southeast, of course, we've had a lot of problems with our laws and those types of things. We've really kind of been held back, while...
Laws and liquor in the South? No
No,
way.
it's shocking, I know.
No, it's
but,
shocking.
while the West Coast and the Northeast have really kind of grown in their craft beer industry, we are
Yeah.
way behind. And it's
Shocking.
funny because, we talk about Atlanta and how fast we're growing because we just finally passed reasonable beer laws. We're still way behind the curve when it comes to,
Sure.
to breweries by population.
Wow.
We could sustain several dozen more.
But, the people that said, that we're trying to fight against these changes in beer laws, you can look at Georgia over the last 2 years and the growth that we've seen in just a couple years' time and the growth that's upcoming as proof positive that these laws work.
Yes.
We're creating jobs, we're seeing more breweries and that.
Definitely.
That is
But
so important.
some of the beers that are coming out here very soon, some of the winter beers we're talking about,
Yes.
there's some releases coming up. One that we just drank earlier that we mentioned, the Helm's Deep, which is releasing on the 17th, which go out and check that out. Packed house last time they released it, so definitely one you want to enjoy. Good People El Gordo is actually releasing today.
Oh, wow.
At the
Okay.
brewery there in Birmingham. And El Gordo Day is a big deal. They have the beer and some different variations and stuff that they do, so that's a good one to do. On December 15th, Trim Tab is releasing an Imperial Stout called Language of Thunder. Monday Night Situational Ethics, 3 variants on that one, correct?
Yes, that's correct. There's 3 different variants of it, and it's
Releasing
good
16th?
The 16th is when they're having their first
those
official
are good.
release. Yeah,
And folks have probably tried those if you've been to the Brian's getting disturbingly
Warm and fuzzy.
aroused over here.
Inappropriate.
Talking about these beers, but if you've been to the garage or you went to the grand opening or some of the beer events around here, you've probably sampled Situational Ethics.
Yes.
So it's going to hit bottles. The first bottle release from Monday Night's Garage.
There you go.
We've also got Reformation Scout just released recently. That's a spiced winter stout. One that I really enjoy, the Wild Heaven Ode to Mercy Special Winter Ale, which is one of those Scales, one of those we talked about as kind of a more drinkable winter beer. It's a coffee brown ale is the base, and they add spices to it and that, so it makes for a nice drinkable kind of winter beer. It's
Yeah, I
not
think
too
I've
heavy.
had it. Decatur, right?
It's Decatur. That's right.
It.
And they're in cans now, which is interesting.
They are
too.
in cans. Yes.
Oh, really?
I think I still have some of the bottles
I think
in
I do too.
my cellar there. And Arch's Four Fiddlers just released recently. There's a ton more coming out. Eventide, yeah, that's down in your neck of the woods, right?
Those my guys, man. Hateville, Georgia.
Hateville.
Those are some good guys. Making good beer.
Good folks there for sure, man. And so good stuff coming up.
Definitely.
Georgia, Alabama, all over the country. There's a lot of beers that we haven't been able to cover in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
But there's something out there for everybody.
Tis the season for those really nice, dark.
The season.
And it's just a wonderful thing. So, one of the reasons why we've got you guys in the studio, of course, FishScales and Chef Lara, is we're going to talk about what you guys are up to. And sustainability is a big thing. And we've talked before off air. And, you said you mentioned that there's a lot of spent grain used in brewing, but you've actually started a business that kind of helps with that sustainability. So can y'all tell us about it a little bit?
Yeah, man. It's called Healthy Bark. You can find it at healthybark.org. And what we basically, FishScales and Chef Lara, I'm FishScales.
I love when you talk in the third person fish.
I love third person.
Yes.
I love third person. But what we did, man, my background is Nappy Roots. Her background is food allergy. And also sustainability with food. So we seen the growth in all the breweries around, I guess, Atlanta in our area and the whole country, basically. And we seen how much spent grain was being thrown away. But initially, our idea was to get bread from local bakeries and bring that in to help ferment beer. But we was told and educated that was the best way to really, recycle food was to catch the grain coming out of the brewery instead of trying to bring grain in. And so that was a great idea for us. We made some pumpkins first, but we felt like dog treats was better because dogs don't need salt, sugar. They don't need the flavor that humans require.
Right.
So we felt like we could do more, and we still could feed our favorite pet, our favorite friend, our best friend, a dog, with some of the grain that's being thrown away. And with the growth of the whole craft beer market, we feel like this could grow too.
And the cool thing with these is a lot of times people pay attention to what they put in their bodies, but you may not think about it a lot with your pet or as much. You get a big bag of dog food. These are all natural ingredients in these, right?
It's super funny, though, that
all
you
natural.
say that. And Scales is being super humble.
This is where Chef Lara comes in. She's a food allergy coach. So she's fully aware of what goes into our body and what probably shouldn't go in most people's body. And same with your animal. If you want them to live a healthy life, and we try to make these as organic as possible. We take the spent grain. We even try to feature each brewing company that we use their spent grain. And right now we're using Arches, Atlantucky, which is, I'll say proudly,
let's talk about that. What's up with Atlantucky, Scales?
I don't blame him. There you go.
It's so much going on because beer has blessed me, man. Beer has blessed me, and I'm ready to dive right into it. Me and Chef Lara, we have Healthy Bark based off of beer, and me and Nappy Roots, we have Atlantucky, a new brewing company, fresh out of my garage.
And you guys are brewing every single week, right? But do you have any ready to drink yet?
Short story. Our first batch was ready today, and we tasted it, and we said we're not worthy.
That's the same as our first batch, yeah.
I went and cleaned my growler, sanitized it. I said, I'm finna take Tim some. And I tasted it. I said, no, let's not do that.
I think the next one, yeah.
I think everyone who's brewed beer has had that story. The first batch is just never not.
Aaron brewed one batch and then quit.
Better.
I brewed two batches,
did
actually.
You make it two batches?
Yeah.
So,
we may be getting three eventually, but yeah, I like drinking it better than making it, though. That's what I've decided.
It was fun, though. I tasted it. I could see what we may have done wrong, but it's fun.
That's a good thing with you learn, from these, from the first. But I'm being told we got to take a break here. We want to talk more about beer and Healthy Bark and sustainability. But you're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back to talk more with Chef Lara and FishScales right after this. It's Aaron and Tim, the beer guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock and Alpharetta are always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy, Aaron. See, they've got 18 of them.
As for the truck part, well, that's when it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks daily, so that way you're getting a different menu every day.
Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock, Alpharetta, and coming soon to Duluth in 2018. Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the beer guys sent you.
Craft beer forged with a reverence for tradition and new styles that start a revolution. Ironmonger Brewing. The brewers at Ironmonger pride themselves in being masters of barrel-aged, hoppy, and sour beers. They invite you to their tap room to taste and see. And coming soon, Ironmonger's Barrel Room featuring live entertainment. Keep up to date on all things Ironmonger by liking them on Facebook. Ironmonger Brewing, establishing a new standard in craft beer.
It's Aaron and Tim, the beer guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock and Alpharetta are always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy, Aaron. See, they've got 18 of them.
As for the truck part, well, that's when it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks daily, so that way you're getting a different menu every day.
Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock, Alpharetta, and coming soon to Duluth in 2018. Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the beer guys sent you.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Well, I'm sure I'd feel much worse if I weren't under such heavy sedation.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
And welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. BeerGuysRadio.com, sitting in with Chef Lara and FishScales from the Nappy Roots. What's going on, guys? We're drinking some really good beers. You're about to crack one open, I see.
I'm working on another one.
Wait, hold on.
Here.
I just got to say, I am not with Nappy Roots.
You would be awesome, Chef Lara. You would be phenomenal.
No, my friends have paired me up with, you're gonna be in Atlanta, you're gonna be in Denver, you're gonna be in Orlando. I am not with Nappy Roots, by the way.
You know, as a matter of fact,
they are good friends of mine, but I am not
there
with
you go.
band.
Point taken. Okay, point taken. Exactly.
Yeah.
Laura,
I think I am traveling with these guys. They are their own source.
Definitely.
Hey, I got to say some stuff. You guys talked about earlier about making your first batch, and that went wrong. Like, it didn't go exactly right. And I had to talk about that as being a chef. So I, earlier today, had a full meltdown of the fact that our Healthy Bark, our first batch, failed. And there's a lot of truth in this, right? So our Healthy Bark is all natural, like 100%. There's no preservatives in it. We actually ordered preservatives today, which we were delivered in the mail. So things don't always go right the first time, and I am my biggest critic. So I cried today about the fact that our Healthy Bark molded, right? Yes. Because it's all 100% natural, and we have to come up with those things. So when we make things, we have to accept the fact that it takes a while to perfect things. I'm coming as a chef.
Yeah,
right?
but really in any artistic process, I consider a chef as being an artist. Doing a radio show, we do things that screw up all the time. Mostly me. I'm sure when you guys are cutting a record,
messed up on stage.
You kind of mess up.
Never. Was you at that show at the Monday Night Garage?
I was there. Yeah.
Well, that's the only time I've ever messed up.
I remember one of my best moments was back in the day. I was in college, and Public Enemy came to and Flavor Flav fell off the studio, so the stage. It was pretty awesome. Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
I saw Public Enemy with Beastie Boys and Murphy's Law in Syracuse, New York.
Oh, look at that! At the War Memorial. That's right.
I hate them guys.
Now, Laura, you're into sustainability in a big picture, right? Not just with the Healthy Bark, and right now you're doing kind of small batch with this, correct?
Scales really talked me into this because I am not, he did. Like, even my daughter says, I can't believe he made you do this. But dog treats were not my thing. Like, I am a chef I cook in the city here, and we have a nonprofit called Urban City Fresh. So we work with kids and farms and everything is local, sustainable. So we're about creating healthy, sustainable communities. And what that means is sustainability is more than just it's more than just what we think of it in terms of, environments, right? It's preserving our economy as a whole. And I think that so much, we talked about earlier on the news today in the segment, breweries come in and they're in these cultures, or they're building in these communities, which builds an economically sustainable community.
Yeah, well,
it's a community. It's a little ecosystem.
Yeah, and breweries come in and they come into places that really are kind of neglected, for lack of a better term, because they need cheap real estate because they have a lot of room to grow.
Right.
They come in, all of a sudden people start coming to the area.
Yeah.
Then maybe a little pizza shop opens up, or maybe a coffee store opens up, and you start building a community within a place that's really been neglected for years, and we've seen that happen all the time.
Monday night's a great example of that because they're on the west side, right, and they're right along the Beltline, and I think this is an awesome opportunity where they can create jobs because they've already built a model again on the west side, but on West Midtown, Upper West Midtown. There's so many things. We can create jobs, we can create an environment, we can create a place where people come to. That's part of sustainability. Economic sustainability is just as important as environmental sustainability. So what we've done with Healthy Bark, and really Scales and I on the same week, he read an article with Beer Advocate, and I was meeting with the food bank that same week, and we were both discussing food waste. He sent me that link and was like, we got to do something with this. And that same week I had met with the food bank, and I was like, all right, here we go, partner. We're back on the same.
go, right?
We're on the same wavelength, right? We're like telepathy. So we did. And ultimately, right now, the easiest way to go about this, getting this into the marketplace, was through the dog treats. We can create human treats. We have created human treats. We've created.
I think beer is a good human treat.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Yes.
It is. The spent grain, though, is a super huge nuisance to a lot of the breweries. We were just up at Redford.
And as y'all know, it's still fiber and nutrients in the spent grain.
Yeah.
Right.
And it lowers the carbohydrates a lot, doesn't it? Because it's stripping the sugar out?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah,
I'm not going to speak on that right now. I'm not even going to go there. Like, I am not a nutritionist.
Okay.
We have one of those on our board, but she's not here tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're not
I'll ask
gonna
my
talk
cousin.
about
She's a
it. But
nutritionist.
we're going to talk about high fiber and high protein.
Okay.
Right? So high fiber, high protein. You're right, though. All the sugar is stripped out of it. There's no alcohol in the spent grain. But that is such a huge thing. It's been going on in England, started it, and then we got into Pittsburgh. I talked to East End Brewing Company up in Pittsburgh, which is the article that Scales read. Talked to them, great people up there too. But we have a huge problem with food waste. And we also have a problem with hunger right here. And 1 out of 4 children in Atlanta specifically are facing hunger every single day. And that's a huge issue. That's twice as much as the rest of the nation. So if we can feed in products that are high in fiber, high in nutrients, we can resolve a lot of that hunger issue right here in Atlanta. And we have so many microbreweries that are so willing to donate to that. So right now we started with dog treats, but we have products that we can put into regular human consumption. They're human edible, but we have to deal with licensing and
sure.
That's a
Easier
huge
to do
issue.
with dog treats for now, right?
For now, yeah.
And still do something good.
Yeah.
Well, Chef Laura, thank you so much for the info this week. We just have a full house, a full show.
We could do like 3 hours this week, I think. Yeah.
And that's in Scales.
Thank you all for having us.
We'll talk more, but Scales, I wanted to. So Atlantucky, you're homebrewing right now, correct? But there's bigger plans, right?
Way bigger plans. We discovered this new word, nano breweries.
Right.
How long has that been around?
It's been around a while.
Okay.
You talking about nano or gypsy? Because you've been talking about both,
okay,
right?
You introduced us to Gypsy at the place Torch Top the other day. You told us about Gypsy, and we realized that we are a combination of the both. Nano Gypsy Brewery.
Nano Gypsies.
The Nano Gypsies, right?
Tiny ones.
Little tiny Gypsies.
Well, Nano Brewery is okay. I could take you to a micro brewery that nobody knows about. Well, few people know about it, and we can go in, drink some beer. But I could take you to this spot where you got to have an invitation to, and it's in a neighborhood, and we got to park our car and walk and do a certain knock. That's the kind of nano brewery we're trying to create. And the Gypsy part of it is that we travel anyway doing shows as Nappy Roots, so we want to do beers with everybody around the country. Like anybody interested who fits our brand, we want to do a beer with them.
be careful now because you don't want to reveal all of the
I won't
pop-up
reveal.
secrets.
Well, I won't reveal. Tim,
He's giving the appetizer, the teaser.
Yeah,
I know,
these
but
guys-
it would be awesome if.
Yes.
What if?
Yes.
What
Well,
if? What
Beer
if
Guys
Nappy
Radio,
Roots beer
they
was
are my
on
friends.
every single place that they performed? What if?
And
I'm
we
just
don't
saying,
want to be every single
hypothetically.
place. And I've given you a couple teasers about some of the stuff we're working on, but we're I won't say knee deep. We're about shin deep into the game, and we are happy about it. Thanks to y'all too, man.
Thank you.
Y'all really pointed us in a lot of right directions.
It's
You
it's
gotta
great
get a
to see.
shout out to Peter at Nappy Roots.
Peter Kiley.
Peter Kiley, the man.
Monday Night
Monday
Brewing
night,
gave
yeah.
us our first shot.
Yeah.
They've given us our biggest credibility thus far
And then Brothers
in the
That
craft
Brew.
beer, and Brothers That Brew.
Yeah.
William Teasley.
They're going to be on our show. They're our first show in January. They're going to be on with us.
William
there.
Those guys are
William
great.
and those guys. Yeah, the Brothers That Brew.
Brothers
Yep, sure are.
Yeah.
All
Big
right.
shout out to
Absolutely.
Hey guys, I would love to
We
keep
gotta
this
move
going.
on.
We got to move
Let's
on.
move on.
Wrap
We
it
gotta
up.
do
So
what we gotta do.
Thank you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
All right, cool. Well, Tim, it's time for to find out who wins our giveaway to give away.
So our winner this week, Aaron, is, I've got it here somewhere. I swear that I do. Rick Willie.
Woohoo!
Rick, thank you so much for subscribing to This Week in Georgia Beer. Just drop us an email to beerguys@beerguysradio.com, and we'll get you a very cool swag pack sent out.
Definitely.
And Aaron, if folks want to join the fun, how do they do that?
Super easy. Just go to beerguysradio.com. Sign up for This Week in Georgia Beer. You'll get a weekly newsletter with all the happenings in the area. You'll also be entered to win our weekly swag packs. That's always good. Coming up next week, we're heading to one of Atlanta's newest brew pubs. We're talking Stouts. Should be a fun time. Check us out at beerguysradio.com and on the socials. Also, if you want some more craft beer info, check out our podcast, Drink This Beer. This week, we're talking to Noda Brewery out of Charlotte. So have a great week. Don't forget to drink local and enjoy the holidays. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're on demand via iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. Always online at beerguysradio.com. Aaron and Tim are back next week with more about the amazing world of craft beer. Cheers.